on-brand gloves available in the store now. Go to the store, buy our sick gloves.
They work as winter gloves also.
Now bear in mind that the live won't be able to pick up
As well
as these are, because these microphones aren't plugged into the live, because I'm not that technical. In fact, is this even on?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, can you hear me? You got headphones on?
Yeah, I've got headphones.
Right, okay, so that's recording there. This is on here. Let me just make sure that's on there. Fuck me. Is that recording? That's recording there. Right, let's fucking go. Let's go. And now. Right,
we're on. These are the things that you don't normally see on the podcast. Is us fucking about. Yeah. We just start. We like check all the levels, do the stuff.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Really
I can hear you.
Can hear me good.
I've not changed the levels since the Mac.
And they were good. I think they were good.
Not the Mac, the Fraser
podcast.
Fraser Mac, Macaulay podcast. So they should be pretty good.
I think they're bang on really level wise.
Is this okay? Yeah, I think we're good. Anyway, okay. So is this 29?
This is 29.
It's 29. We're nearly at the big 3-0. Okay, so welcome to the 29th Low Origin podcast. Maybe we'll stop at like 100 and retire.
69, obviously.
69, or maybe 420.
420. Yeah.
Please it.
Yeah. Whichever we get to first.
Anyway, this is going to be the coldest podcast we've ever done. It is currently
Coldcast.
It's between -1 and 0, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, so we're here joined by Saul Del Rio and of course Mac Frost off of Jack Frost, snowy stuff from the sky. Is this the time of year for you?
This is the time of my people.
This is the time of your people. All right, Mac. We're gonna cut straight to the chase now. I've specifically not done background. Let's talk to Mac before we get on the podcast.
Yeah.
So
we've been very. How's family?
Because we do. Well, yeah, but the thing is, we do this. We'll have someone over, and we'll realise that we've talked about all the podcast-related things
beforehand.
And then you just sit there like, what do we fucking talk about, guys?
So when we did the 4-hour podcast with Fraser, he'd been here for nearly 3 hours prior. We'd eaten food. We'd already talked about so much stuff that probably could have been in the podcast.
Yeah, that should have been
6 hours. Of podcast. People would have absolutely.
No. I see in the comments there are people out there who are like, "Oh, mate, you should go for 6
longer."
hours." I can't do that. My Mac will not deal with that scale of a.
If we try and spend 4 hours outside in this cold,
we're going to
die.
Let's call it. Let's call it like. What time is it now? It is. I can't fucking see my watch. I don't fucking know.
It's 20 past 2.
20 past 2. Should we make this like an hour, or should we aim for an hour?
We'll aim for an hour.
Just because it is cold as fuck, and I don't want to fucking.
We won't naturally cut off, but if we see a point at which about an hour.
I'm very aware that like usually we do this out here, and it's fine. It is a bit cold, but like it is mega cold today, and
it's the middle of the day.
It's the middle of the day. Yeah, we usually do these at night, and anyway. Mac, you're here with us today because, as ever, I've seen some controversy on the internet.
If I'm on Low Origin, there's mad drama.
Yeah, if you're here, there's some shit that's gone down. I'm gonna say what I've seen, and then Saul's gonna say what he's seen. Say what you see, and then you're gonna clarify the things that have happened and let us know. So what I've seen is I've seen a post on the BDC, the British Drift Championship page, that says that you're basically shutting up shop, or the BDC is shutting up shop, and it is no longer going to exist. Now, is that too much of a stretch to even go to that far and say that it's no longer going to exist, or should we come to that in a moment?
I can answer that right now if you want me to answer that.
All
right now.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So right now, the future is a little bit uncertain. That's the thing. So as far as me being the person affiliated with the championship and what goes on with it, that is over.
Okay.
I would love to see the brand continue to exist
at
some point in the future.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of difficult financial situations and legal things and other stuff surrounding that. So the honest answer is I'm not quite sure where that's going to stand.
Okay, well, I know people hate me interrupting the guest. When you say legal things, we have had threats of suing before. Can we just make sure we don't? If you think we're saying anything that's potentially litigious or gets anyone into any sort of legal trouble, can you just say shut the fuck up and just stop us?
it'll be great. It'll be great.
Okay, you sure? You want to do that?
let's just get sued.
Oh,
So
fuck!
I think
what have we done?
We're potentially at the point where doing this has no more damage.
At the end of the day, I think that everyone's gutted about the championship
course,
ending.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are sad about it. There are a few
15
people.
years.
15 seasons of the
15
BDC
seasons?
ran.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I'm like, I want to be positive here today about
Yeah.
what we talk about. It's obviously the end of it, and I'm gutted about that. And there's a lot of hardships on a personal level for that as well. But at the end of the day, to do 2 seasons as the owner and 2 seasons before that managing and running the series and the things that we've done and the people we've met and those experiences, that's like, there's a huge amount of positive in all that and what we were able to achieve. And like, I sit back and I look at it and I go, yeah, this year was a bit crap, but that was against all odds.
Yeah.
And the 3 years before that, the things we saw and did, fantastic. Like, what a pleasure to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm gutted it's ended, and it's not ended because I've just gone, oh, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Like, it's ended because of financial impact of the last few years. So that sucks.
So we're saying this is another victim of COVID then, and unfortunately, it's a victim of circumstances. Timing is the overriding over is the bitch.
COVID's a huge impact
Yeah.
on the business. Obviously, I didn't own the company at the time of when that happened,
Yeah.
and that was down to Matt to get the business through it, which he did.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can imagine when I bought the company, coming off the back of that, it wasn't in a particularly good state, as most businesses weren't at that point.
Yeah.
But the actual knock-on from COVID, like, obviously we lost a bunch of money that year and the business had some debt from it, but the bigger impact of COVID is post that, when every single thing you need to hire in for an event or the cost of venues or everything has increased massively.
Yeah, well, that's it. Nothing's the cost that it was even at the beginning of COVID. At this point in time, I kind of assumed things would be getting a little bit of normality. The things are just, it's fuel as well.
People won't realise
the overriding thing that causes the movement of all financial costs
Oil.
is oil.
Yeah. People won't realise what the cost of actually running BDC is. Like, so what those events cost to put on.
Yeah.
Like, go on. What do you think an event costs to run? Like an average event?
Now, I think the last time I was privileged to any information like that, it was for Driftland. In fact, it was when we were talking about it, wasn't it? It was like in the region of like...
informally talking
Wasn't
about
it originally like 30 and then it ended up being 60 or something?
Yeah,
painful.
Driftland, we spent £67,000 to run that event.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. It was a good event. It's hard, isn't it? It's like, when you think we did an event at Driftland, and although we had seemingly a better time of it than you clearly did, let's not get sued. Clearly, there was some issues there. Things weren't completely smooth for us. We did have our own problems, but it certainly didn't cost 60. But it's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
It was like 10 mates just fucking around in a car, whereas you are running a national series, national championship at a racetrack in the UK. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
At big scale, with a big number of staff that run that event, and none of them get what they should for running it. Do you know what I mean? Everybody gives up so much time and works 4 days to the death of it to do it. We had an amazing team. Then, all the hire-ins, all the equipment, the venue costs, then you've got costs for accommodating all your staff, for looking after the people.
Yeah.
You have to outlay for all sorts of things. Insurance. Like thousands and thousands of pounds every year to insure an independent motorsport series.
People don't consider this as well, because the insurance side of things is just continuous. Like, do you pay per?
You basically insure for the year based on how many events that you're doing.
Oh, right, okay.
Going from 20 to 21, the insurance premium quadrupled in price.
Right. Okay. Well, that's not financially manageable, is it? Why though? I mean, what's
there's the odd
that?
thing with insurance companies, and I'm obviously we all have insurance. We have insurance for businesses, businesses, cars, whatever you do, you inherently require insurance. With my job, I work with life or death or
You work with life or death.
I'm working with systems and things where people, if they get into a problem, the worst possible outcome is death.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So our insurances are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they're not just for that, because we're working construction. We're working with within roofing contracts, within packages of work, which we require certain levels of insurance in case we damage someone else's work.
Yeah.
So because we're penetrating roof membranes.
You're penetrating roofs
Of a building that's completed. Imagine you've got a £150 million project in Manchester.
Yeah, I know, but
we
I
burst a hole in the roof and it doesn't watertight and.
But my point is,
ruin.
How is it increasing that the cost increasing?
For
that?
Mac, potentially, he hasn't had an accident or hadn't dinged it. So the way insurance can look at it is they could go, well, it's only a matter of time. You're going to have an accident, and now we haven't had one last year.
Yeah, but
so
hang fire. That's not how insurance works. Look at
it. Kind of is, though.
Right. Well, how come my car insurance goes down year on year?
But
Because
it
I've
can
not had a
also
claim.
it can also go up.
Yeah, that's true. That Jason guy, he had an M5, a brand new M5, 2021 M5, and it was some fucking group insurance. He then
50 probably.
yeah, and then he sold it and bought a super duper special edition M5, and his insurance went down by nearly £1,000 because there was only 300 of them made, which meant that they were in, and it had a different chassis number, which
Different
meant it was
bracket.
so. And because none of those had ever been stolen, it meant that vehicle was now
this is what-
But there's loads of M5s that have been stolen.
People
so.
hinge on the accident numbers.
Yeah,
and stuff
that's
like that.
it.
But also, if something is more desirable, it's a higher likelihood of it being stolen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's I think with insurance companies, it's very much a we make the rules business. Yeah. We decide what your premium will be.
There's a really small pool of insurance companies that you can use to, because it's not blue booked or anything like that.
This is my next question. When you have insurance like that, are there certain tracks that will accept that insurance? Or is it just like they don't give a fuck?
The insurance that we had.
I remember you saying like, "Oh, does this come under your insurance or our insurance?" Like the track has insurance, and then you have insurance to run the event at the track. I just feel like there's insurance companies here just bathing in money based on the fact that like
something has to happen.
Yeah,
something's happening.
Do you know what I mean?
So I've never had our insurance rejected, but it would never be rejected because it was like the most comprehensive, all-inclusive, like.
Okay.
Fucking meteorite could hit the thing and aliens could pour out of it, and they'd have been like, as long as they don't have COVID,
as long
you're
as
good.
they don't have COVID, that's all that matters. Yeah, well, that's the only important thing of the past couple of months.
So we were just talking about COVID and the
yeah.
impact. You've got a third layer of impact of COVID. So you've got the initial finance, you've got the next everything gets more expensive, and then you've got what happened in drifting because of COVID.
Yeah.
And
price booms.
And no. Well, so that's a factor that's affected things. But what happened within the drifting hierarchy and the people involved in drifting at that time?
Yeah.
And obviously the whole mat and sweeps thing, which isn't my business to talk about, but that changed things in drifting in the UK, and where even though BDC came out on top in 21 over what they did, like. It changed the dynamic of it, and it changed it like irreversibly.
Yeah, well, I don't know a great deal of what happened there. All I know is that there was a feeder, the feeder series. It was the feeder. Am I right in saying the feeder series, which was owned by Sweeps, ran by Sweeps. Now there was it was bypassed.
Yeah, essentially, the agreement was vetoed.
Now
was that bypassed by Matt?
I believe so.
It was me.
It was you.
So
no,
Matt owned it. Matt owned it.
Right,
but permits it was me and Dan Joyce that were initially talking, and then I approached Matt and said, look, our Pro-Am grid's been halved by what's happened with COVID.
Yeah.
Drift Cup's cancelled. These people want in. What do we do? And I designed the structure for permits. I built the website where people applied. Me and Matt picked the people together. But I led it, and it was a good decision to do it. So
yeah, when you say it like that, it does make a lot of sense. If you think you think that the Drift Cup season was not going ahead, you've got all these drivers that wanted, so they're doing nothing. But if there is an ability to do something, then I guess it does make sense. The problem here is, was there a conversation had with Sweeps prior?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt and Sweeps talked about it, and I wasn't there for that conversation, and I know at first they were all right with it, and then they weren't.
Right.
And
Okay.
then whatever happened from there.
Is it that it was like that was basically you look at it, it sounds like, right, that's a great idea as a temporary fix, but as a full-time fix, you basically
damaging,
just
isn't it?
it just tombstones
So-
Drift Cup, didn't it?
Drift
at that point?
Drift Cup not existing has hurt drifting in the UK a lot.
Oh yeah, massively.
Because there isn't that grassroots thing, and I know Drift League this year are trying to push to bring that back with 2 classes and other things. But
Yeah.
And
again, this
Drift
is
Pro
something
doing
people don't know.
The drift lights. So you
Yeah,
got
drift
Pro doing
lights.
drift lights.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
Fraser-
that happening as a championship now?
It will
now.
it
Are we supposed to
will
talk about that?
be-
Because Fraser was talking about that. Are we supposed to talk
No,
about?
he mentioned it on the. He did
No,
it,
he didn't. He mentioned it in the kitchen. That's not a podcast.
He did. He mentioned it on the
I-
podcast.
Did he?
drift
All right,
lights.
that's
And
fine
it's,
then.
It's
It's
public.
fine.
They did drift lights.
Okay,
so
yeah, that's
it would
fine.
make sense for
Yeah, it's
them
fine.
to do it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
me
I know that.
surmising that they're going to do it. And he did talk about it on the podcast. He did drift lights.
So after we'd been here last time and we did this,
Yep.
I ended up talking to Sweeps.
Yep.
He reached out and he said, "Look, I cringed at a bit of what you said, but I think you said the right things." I was like, "All right,
He said that.
yeah."
Yeah.
And then I said, "All right, why don't we talk next year about bringing Drift Cup back?" And I tried to make that deal with Sweeps this year for next year to bring Drift Cup back.
Are we saying he wasn't interested in doing Drift
No,
Cup
he
at all?
said he'd have a conversation with me about it.
Yeah.
And
But obviously it's not.
then
happened.
next thing, bad blood happened with me and him, and that conversation never happened. And
That's a snowy hill that someone's doing pace down.
I was about
aren't
to
they?
say someone's just about 1,000 miles an hour down a fucking sheer vertical hill with snow on it. Now, okay, so we're back to square one then, basically, with you guys and with Sweep and you.
I feel like in when Eminem and
Oh,
50 Cent
we've immediately gone
were-
to rap.
we're beefing with Murder Inc. and Ja Rule, and in one of Eminem's very famous songs,
Murder Inc.
he's like, we inherited 50's beef with Murder Inc.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like that's what it's been like with me and Sweeps.
Kind of,
It was
yeah.
You inherited beef from Matt. Isn't it weird how when Dave Egan had the BDC, there was just no beef with anyone.
No, he just got off
Bring
completely
back
unscathed.
Dave Egan, man.
He just got off completely unscathed. Just
Okay. Let's go. Let's be real now. Like how many people with money have spoken to you recently along the lines of, "Hey Mac, hey Mac, hey Mac, I got some briefcases, Mac.
So
I got some briefcases for you."
I posted in the driver group to just tell drivers before it was public that day.
Yep.
Like I posted something to drivers saying, "Hey, this is the situation. For financial reasons, whatever. I'm stepping out."
Yeah.
Da da da. Less than 10 minutes later, somebody who's not in that driver group messaged me going,
I'll buy it.
"Hey, I don't want to be the first vulture circling." And yeah, I must have had
Newsflash: Low Origin are actually buying the BDC, and the first thing we're going to do is ensure that everyone lowers their car, and they're not allowed on the grid unless it's 10 mil off the ground, at least at some point, and no fake wheels. And do you know what? We can fucking know.
You want it?
No.
Do you want it? You heard it first. Can you imagine?
Imagine.
Do you want it?
Do you want it? Sign.
This is where we're
This
at.
is-
It's
this is
not
why
funny.
we've got this
It's
bag
not
here
funny.
anyway.
It's not funny. Yeah, this is a bag full of money. I mean, this is the thing. This is what I didn't want to ask you any questions in there. And I didn't want to ask you any questions beforehand because is this where we're at? Are we at the point where the first vultures are the people who you're? Is this a consideration? Is this a possibility? The BDC for me is. I mean, I got fucking trophies in there that are from a championship that's about to, in my head, disappear.
I would like somebody to be able to take it and to be able to do something with it in the future. But like I said kind of earlier, there's a bit
They're buying debt basically at
there's-
this point.
Well, that again, this all depends around the future of not of the BDC, but of my company. And
Okay,
things
okay.
like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's where
Your rap company.
just with my record label and
Well,
Yeah.
obviously
Jesus
the
Christ.
complexities to it is if this was like a corporate huge company, is
Yeah.
when they get into issues, they can be sold on for whatever amount, but then inevitably, regardless, you step down as the person that was
so
running
every time BDC's ever been sold, apart from when I bought it, all somebody's ever bought is the name.
it. Yeah.
That's all that's ever been
ever
sold. But
existed
when
piece
I
of paper.
bought it, I bought a company.
Yeah.
I bought a fully functional business with
Okay.
staff and everything and assets and other stuff. So
Yeah.
there's a whole situation that that's what we're probably not going to talk about.
Okay.
Which is fine.
But
Yeah.
I would love to see it continue, and I've had all sorts of people come out the woodwork who want it from here, from Ireland, from everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've said the same thing to everyone, which is that there's just a lot flying around right now, and at some point in the future, I'd be open to have a conversation conversation about who could take the brand.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not really even a consideration because there's so much else going on with it.
Yeah, it sounds like there are a lot of moving parts to something that complicated. I don't think it would be fair. As you say, a bit that you don't want to talk about, and I'm completely fine with that. We won't do. But there are other people who have got jobs and who are interacting. The investors, people who have potentially invested money into the BDC externally from this, who are sort of like, well, what? Again, we won't touch on that. But like, I say I run my own business. Clearly my wife does.
Runs your business.
Clearly my wife does. I don't understand how the hell shit like that works. It feels like there are too many moving parts to keep a lot of people happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I don't possess the.
I'm currently working with some very business savvy people and some specialist companies to deal with all this stuff. So it's in action, but it's going to take time. Now, the next level of it is like, for whoever wants to take it, what do they want to do with it? Because do you want to just go, hey, look, we're going to do exactly the same thing that Mac was doing?
Yeah.
Because, right, one thing that pisses me off is I've seen comments online from other people been like, well, the right guy needs to run it and they need the right team behind him. And this is not me, like, sucking my own dick and saying I'm the best or anything like that. But the passion I had for it, the dedication and the fucking money that I put into it.
Yep.
Like, tens of thousands of pounds of my own money that's gone into a hole.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard.
It hurts,
and
you know. You got to think
someone-
also you got to think this shit for the future. No matter what happens, there's going to be some fucking deep-seated PTSD over this stuff. You know, this is not something that you can just shut the door and say see you later to.
If somebody wanted to come in now with a bunch of money and try and replicate what we did, they could do it. And the more money you had, the more you could do with it. But if it's not a self-sustaining business, anyone who's got a lot of money isn't going to keep doing it. I'm not a person who has a lot of money, so I put all my money in, and that money's gone, and the dream's fucking dead. Like, that's the blunt reality of the situation for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's say, like, somebody with £1 million comes along and goes, right, we'll do it. And, you know, they run 2 good seasons at putting 200 grand in each year and going all out and doing this and paying drivers to come in and all this situation. They're going to get to year 3 and then they're going to go,
it's dead.
I'm not doing
dead.
it anymore.
Yeah.
So the model itself needs to change. And I think that drifting, I still see a ton of potential in the space for somebody to build and do something exciting with it.
Yeah.
But there's not been space because it's been so fucking overcrowded for so many years, especially now and post-COVID, where there's like 4 championships normally running or 3 championships or whatever.
Yeah.
Like now there is a void and there is space for somebody to build something new or for something that already exists like Drift League to expand and improve. But for people who've been like, why doesn't Gordon just take the name BDC? That would be the worst move he could ever make at this point. You know, he's got his own thing going on.
Yeah.
And I fully support what they're doing this year. But either somebody needs to innovate with something that exists.
I think you're absolutely nail on the head. If I run through the owners of the BDC over the years, when we were involved, it was Sweeps and Paul. And don't get me wrong, those are as far as I'm concerned, the glory years. Now I use that word because at the time when I last did it seriously, it was like 2013 and 2014. 14. I tried to do it seriously 2014, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Making it about you.
No, but for me, Sweeps was great. He was on the money for a lot of things. He and Paul, I think that was the bit where it always felt a bit peculiar, because the championship was owned by somebody who was also competing in it.
Yeah.
And everyone knew this.
As far as I know,
it always felt a little bit like we didn't really.
No one ever kind of
understood it. Yeah. And then when the whole 285 thing came out, it was a bit like, this feels a bit like wiping your own arse with your own money, and it feels a bit peculiar.
Well, that was
Now that shouldn't, I don't think, should be a reflection of the BDC, because that was a situation, I think, that was, although it felt like it was entirely avoidable, it also felt like an inevitability, because if you have. Was he investing? I mean, this is the thing. Nobody ever really understood or could tell what was actually going on there, but it was the pair of them. Then Drift Cup was born by Ali. Ali invented Drift Cup
essentially
as a low-paid worker out the back of Jap Speed. And Drift Cup was basically his vision for D1SL. D1SL was something that he and everyone else had watched for about 1 billion years and thought that was fucking sick. We should fucking do that. And
like tyre limits, you know.
yeah, and like things like you got to have an MOT. That wouldn't work anymore, would it?
No.
Fuck me. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine written into the rules that you've got to have an MOT? Nope. Nope.
How much was this MOT?
Yeah, how much was this MOT? And then things like it had to have a stereo, like shit like that. It was a great idea, and I think Ali had his heart in the right place, but ultimately it needed somebody like
It
Sweet
needed someone
to
realistically
run with it.
to go, well, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Drift Cup.
And it did.
And Drift Cup was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
2018 Drift Cup, when I started getting involved with drifting on that level,
Yeah.
I was there. I was doing media and other
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a great championship.
It looked
that-
great
that
as well.
built-
Like I really.
that built drivers in the right way to
Yeah.
come to something like BDC, and that's why we missed it when it wasn't there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But back to that, I felt like I don't want to say the branding. There was this concept. I mean, Low Origin itself is a constantly evolving brand. We change the fucking logo every 5 seconds, like you change your fucking socks. It always felt like something that needed to be in motion. It needed to be malleable. It needed to change with the people, the time, the date. You know, having the same font logos. I mean, fuck me. It works for some brands. Next Level, for example, that is an event, single event. It's actually 2 or 3 events now, but it's single event, and it is the Next Level event, and that is their thing. If they did change their logo or their font, I mean, you'd be like very confused about this. Now, I know I'm talking about fonts and logos, and it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with drifting, but I felt like the BDC became stale, and at the point at which Dave Egan bought it or took it over, I don't know what happened.
It just plateaued, didn't it?
It felt like it
couldn't go
plateaued.
any further.
Yeah. Although when I think back to the 2013 season when you got all these gazebos, you got all these teams from all over the fucking place, it looked incredible and it looks organised. And from there, it became lots of single individual gazebos when you got, instead of having professional big teams, which is what the organisation, the championship wanted. They wanted big teams of people to make them look more professional, which made sense. You went with lots of little individual gazebos of privateers who were getting involved, and that's great. But ultimately, the look of the championship would then start to be a bit peculiar. If that makes any sense, like it would seem that it's not F1.
Right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I think anytime anyone's been involved with drifting, whatever years you were involved in the BDC,
Yeah.
or the glory years for whoever it was,
okay,
and
yeah.
people will be like, that was the golden era.
yeah, it's
when
always
I was
the same,
there and
it's
we were
yeah,
having
of
a
course.
good time, that was the
No,
best.
I know.
I talked
I
about this. I did
know,
another
know.
podcast the other night, and we talked about that a lot. So I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
next of all, the BDC never banned or discouraged teams at any point, and in fact, we've actively tried to
Yeah,
promote
that's
teams
what
for
I mean.
a long time.
That's what I mean.
But when
It didn't work like
sponsors,
that.
when sponsors aren't putting in for
Correct.
a team, then that's it. And why are sponsors
the
not
problem.
putting in for a team? I've heard a lot of stories about bad things that happen with sponsors
Yeah.
in those times, and that's not, you know.
No, it's 100%. That is I'm not saying. I'm saying that that when I look, the look of the BDC back in 2013 was this groups of big gazebos, race teams turning up with race trucks. It was fantastic, and yeah, love to see privateers turning up with them. That's great, but it's when that became the dominant presence at the events that it felt like it didn't feel like the national championship. By all means, go and do Drift Cup with lots of little gazebos of privateers and stuff like that. That made sense. But when it was the national championship, I wanted to see fucking race trucks. I wanted to see money. I wanted to see people investing in a sport that I felt was important. And those investors they dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. And that's the main reason why Low Origin was born, because instead of fighting for sponsorship where sponsors would demand, oh, well, I need you to say this or do this, I need you to be like this. If you became your own sponsor and you became the brand, the thing that you were trying to create or trying to attract to pay for the things you enjoy doing, then at that point you can do what you like. Have a podcast where you chat shit about people. Fuck me. It becomes a lot easier to be more realistic, and then in turn people, I don't know, give more of a fuck. Who knows? But the point is, for me, when David Egan had it, I still saw those race trucks were still turning up, but it was starting to get more of a privateer-y kind of a feel. I know it sounds stupid, but 2017, I did the 2017. There was no race trucks. There was a couple of gazebos that were all the same, but it was nowhere near. Now that's not a reflection of David Egan, and the fact that isn't the case under you is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of what drifting
is.
This
has
year,
become.
this year we didn't even have a constructors championship because there were just
no teams.
legitimate teams, or people would be like, yeah, we're on a team for points, but they wouldn't even pit together.
Yeah.
Never mind have a matching car.
Yeah, I
And
can't. This is the bit that makes me super sad, man.
In next year's plans that are cancelled, we had an incentive for bringing back livery teams, and I was already talking with potential sponsors about expanding from sponsoring one car to teams. I wanted to see it come back so much
because that's when you get big sponsors. If you want to have a life where you start considering your job becomes this, we're not there. Don't act like we are. If you want to get to a point where you want to be attracting you and your mates, we've painted our cars the same and we all look sort of the same. We all drive together. We drive privately together. We go to events and we drive together. And we look. The more professional you make yourself look, then a big sponsor then gets involved, and they then offer you things like tires, not just a discount on something.
Do you know what's really off-putting for sponsors?
People like us being
doing a
The
podcast.
Facebook comment section.
Yeah.
I know,
Jesus
Yeah, we know.
Christ.
That's it. We don't
know.
use Facebook is dead.
Yeah, I'm off. I
Facebook
quit.
is
I'm
dead.
out.
So,
After the other day, especially after
Doesn't
the whole
exist.
Driftland thing, I kind of stepped back from it and I tried to take BDC away from it. But when it's
Yeah.
a predominant audience
I know.
and you're needing to sell tickets desperately,
I know.
like,
We
you
said
have
this,
to
though.
push on with it. But right now, man, Facebook and the culture around it.
Yep.
Did you see? You're not on there really, I guess.
Nope.
But Three Sisters cancelled their drift day this morning.
Yeah, this morning.
For today, but
I
they
only
put
saw
a
that
thing
because of
out.
the
They put a
notification,
thing out last night saying, "Hey, we're not really sure what's happening. There's this and that.
Damn.
We'll let you all know as soon as possible." At the end of yesterday, they had to say, "We're gonna have to judge it in the morning. We're not sure." And then this morning they went, "It's off." And some of the comments from people, like legitimate drivers, or are they legitimate? Who knows? But people just crying and kicking off and being shitty with one of the only few venues that
That's
actually runs drift days, and it's just like.
But then hang fire. I'm with you. It's shit. And at the end of the day, they shouldn't be doing that. But why are you using Facebook? Stop. Stop. What did you do before Facebook? We are using Instagram, and I think at the point at which Instagram becomes Facebook, and I think it probably will.
It's getting there.
It probably will. The comment sections on Instagram for us are, I don't know why, but nothing but positive. Even the shitty comments are always like, you can have a laugh with people.
Yeah.
On Facebook, it is like, I don't know whether it's because you are your profile, it's you. And although you're Mac Frost, and it's not actually your name, and it is your name, but in that instance,
It
it's
actually
not.
isn't mine.
No, you learn something new every day. Even though, does that turn itself off? It doesn't matter. It feels more personal on Facebook. I mean, we've stopped using Facebook at all. I actually tried to remove the Instagram from the Facebook, and as soon as I did that, I
Got
lost.
punished.
Yeah, we got
on
punished.
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram reach went from 0. We had like 6 million views on a video,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I disconnected Facebook, so I was
automatic
like,
posting
well, clearly
was-
I don't fucking need Facebook anymore. This is a
Yeah.
fucking waste of time. I got like 2 likes, 3 likes
And
on a
we've
post,
suffered
and
since,
no
really.
comments.
We've suffered since.
Oh yeah, 100% now we get like fuck all. So I had to then reattach it to Facebook. So Facebook is
It's a toxic relationship.
it is because you go, I don't want anything to do with it. But then if you want to run a business in 2022 in any capacity, even if you're not
Pulls the pussy out
using
and goes,
Facebook,
come on.
you've got to have it active.
If you want to connect with the biggest active demographic of people in an appropriate age for most products you're selling, Facebook's a great place to do
TikTok
it.
is the
TikTok.
right place. TikTok is the
for
right
young,
place to
for
do.
young people. But
Yeah,
like,
and all the people who were the heyday, let's jokingly call 2013 the heyday. I enjoyed it. It was great. They were all of TikTok age now. Got to consider that.
Yeah.
Ty, in a very short space of time, with I'm not going to say very minimal effort, Ty, because you put a fuck ton of effort in, but he's got over 100,000 followers.
So much
They're
stupid, yeah.
actual, genuine interactions that he's having on a regular. Ty could very easily just go, all right, Cance, I'm going to do a fucking shop, and I'm going to do this. He is doing a shop, but he could very easily just monetize and change. I mean, he is monetizing it.
I think so.
believe.
Far,
I think they're sending him fucking checks for stuff at this point. But either way, the point is, it's like, if it is a case of moving with social media and not now, the Facebook page had nearly a million followers, million likes or something.
well,
like that.
it's 800 and something
It's a
thousand.
fuck
but it's
ton.
a lot. But if it's all click farmed, it's not
Exactly.
worth nothing. And
So what's funny about what you were touching on about the drivers and the Three Sisters thing before, what I think people forget about is companies that we want to get involved in drifting, to make drifting something different, big corporate companies that aren't parts companies, they're the whoever's, the whatevers, random companies that are going to throw money at stuff, they use social media listening tools.
Yeah.
and I don't think people realise that these exist, but from years of comments you've said,
Yeah.
you just keywords from years back. That's how all of these famous people get done for racist stuff, things that they shouldn't have said because of social media listening tools. And if someone's smart enough just to use keywords to pull everything that you've ever said as far as comment sections as well as just posts,
this year
you're fucked.
This year, me, BDC, we're in negotiations with a video game company who make a drifting game. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good fit. We had a...
One that came out recently?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe it won't be what you
Because
think
we're in
about,
that one. Yay.
But, yeah, that's cool.
On the trailer as well.
Yeah, we're on the trailer as well, yeah.
With the Juicebox Boys.
Even Gabby noticed. She was like, "Oh, there's this fucking new game come out. Oh my god, is that your fuck?" Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's
Sorry,
in for
continue.
like
I'm doing it.
literally
I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I'm
we
sorry.
had this huge deal on the table. Like I think it was like a 15-20 grand deal that we were talking about doing. We've been a massive support for the championship. This was mid-season. We did the pitch. The pitch was great. We had a follow-up meeting. Everything seemed great. We sent terms. We started talking about contract. Next thing, it got pulled off the table.
Damn.
And I went, "Damn, can I get some feedback?" And they went, "Yeah, sure. Here's the problem." And they sent me screenshots from Facebook of BDC drivers publicly slagging off the control tyre, of other figureheads in the drifting community and people, and people who are prominent with brands talking shit about sponsors.
So?
And if I put a post out going, "Hey, Link ECU is really great," and you write a comment underneath going, "Oh, Link ECU sucks and you should buy a fucking Haltech,"
We know this feel.
We know this.
We know this feel.
It's hilarious, but this is how business works and operates.
Yeah.
That's how marketing works.
That took a deal off the table, and then the bit that really hurt was the driver. I'm not saying names, but the driver who was publicly going off about it. Still later that year was still going off about it, and I'm like,
You've shot yourself in the foot. In fact, you haven't just shot yourself in the foot. You've gone round to the houses of everyone who's involved in the championship, and you've just shot them all in the foot. And this is the point. I think Facebook, in this instance, is a poisoned chalice because it's as you just said, it's the way to contact your demographic. But how did we used to do it? How did you used to fill a fucking... How did they get 10,000 people to turn up to the fucking Trafford Centre? They did it by putting fucking massive, fucking 6-foot high billboards up. And they did it by handing leaflets out. And the problem with that is nobody was willing to do anything like that. Dave Egan did it once at one of the, I think it was Teesside, and half of fucking Middlesbrough turned up randomly.
Yeah.
It was a really, really weird scenario, but it worked. Nobody did it since.
This year, I just ahead of Teesside round 3, we were really on the back foot with marketing that event because of the Driftland thing. So, as well as the huge financial loss, then obviously the Driftland statement came out. We made a whole podcast about that anyway. But so I'm like, damn, what are we going to do? So I went, right, we need to spend some money. What's the fastest, acquisition for new audience, right? So we went Teesside Retail Park. Yeah. Spoke to the people there, got in with the agency that owns it, and they were like, yeah, whatever. It's like 500 quid for 2 days. You can have space to put a couple of cars on display. And I was like, right, fantastic. We'll get a couple of cars on display.
Yeah.
We'll bring the promo girls. We'll get, 5,000 flyers made, and we'll smash them out to every single person who comes to that retail park. That'll be cool.
Yep.
I go to the driver group. Hey, who's got cars available next weekend to bring to this thing? Fucking crickets. No one. Not one person. But to cancel that booking, not one person put it in. And I get everybody has a lot going on, cost of living, whatever, but I was saying to people all year, the championship's only going to work if people support it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need people with sponsors on the side of the cars that want to be in that scenario. That's the thing. They want that car with those sponsors on to be seen in that scenario. That's the problem here. It's getting sponsors who are switched on enough to know what's important out of marketing.
But people right now, I think that there's so many inherent problems. Like, people right now aren't pushing it the right way to make a brand out of themselves. They're just writing a status on Facebook saying, hey, who wants to sponsor me next year? I'm doing this. I've got 5,000 people on my Facebook page. And it's like, yeah, but where are you actually delivering value to anyone? And that's something we constantly tried to encourage drivers to do. And I really wanted to develop like a pack for it. Do you know what I mean? That showed people how to do that and how to do better on social media and things. But
I think that's important.
I could never do it.
The issue is here, though, is you would literally need to be PR trained and able to do it.
Yeah, but you clearly know what the fuck is up, And the thing is,
well, that's what I do. Like, this is the whole thing. Is my background is social media marketing, digital marketing. That's what I'm getting back into doing full time now because, god damn it, I need a job. Like, hire me.
Hire me. Yeah,
Hey, you could work for Low Origin.
Yeah. We'll swap you the championship
for a job.
I'll give you BDC and then you pay me to run your Facebook
I think
page.
that's fair, is it? Yeah. So sorry, Mac. Fuck. I've interjected. I've cut you down, and I can't remember where the fuck we're up to.
It's a very weird situation because it's something that's always been around. It's always existed for as long as I've been involved in drifting. As long as you've kind of involved in drifting, it's existed.
It was the only thing I could do.
Yeah.
It was doing Streeto for a bit. Never admit that. Doing some Streeto for a bit, and then it was my other mates were all getting cars taken off them and licenses taken off them. And I was like, well, I want to keep doing this. So what can I do? I can do pod. Did pod. Pod then became bashing head against the wall. Pod. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but I mean, there's only so many pod days you can do before. And then it was, do you want to do the BDC? It was like 130 quid for a round, and I could turn up, and then I had some part worn tires from Pete. Yes, Pete.
Yes, Pete.
And then I'd do all right. I did all right, and then I'd go home and I'd like, this was fucking sick, and there was loads of seat time, and then but that was a long time ago. Things changed.
Things have changed a lot from then now.
Because now you've got loads of drift days. You can just go. Well, I say loads of drift days. You've got lots of options for just going drifting. Whereas at the time when I had that, I didn't have anything. The BDC was the option. There was nothing else that I could really
Look how many
do.
drift competitions there are now.
I know we
and there
jokingly
are more
lost.
coming.
Yeah.
There are more coming.
What?
Other people are starting championships that
Wait, what do
aren't
you mean?
public knowledge yet.
What are you talking about? There isn't. Are there really?
Yes.
Sorry, it's not funny. Look, I know. The thing is, there's a lot of our mates who.
There's someone screaming out to invest in grassroots stuff. Please stop with the championships. Just invest.
Stop! Yeah, don't make another one. Just do something. Just maybe just blanket call Rockingham until their phone melts in their hand.
Well, yeah.
Sweeps.
Please.
I phoned Rockingham and I spoke to him and I offered him a lot of money to let me have a drift event there. More money than I actually had.
Right.
And they still said, we're not even interested.
No.
I spoke to Knock Hill and I offered them a lot of money, and they said, well, it needs to be this many spectators, and I said, there will be that many spectators there. I will make it happen. And they still went
higher or lower than 10,000.
Higher. You can't get anywhere for 10,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
it's
like
25.
Right, hang fire. When we come to Knock Hill, right? Don't get me wrong. Knock Hill always seemed to be packed to the ginnels, and I always enjoyed Knock Hill. It was always at the end because everyone knew they were going to fucking crash the cars.
Rail it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing that picture of Polo on
good.
one wheel.
Yeah,
you ever seen it? You ever seen a drift car on one wheel?
Well, we're not just a drift car, like a clamshelled G35.
Clamshell G35 on one wheel.
On one wheel.
Drifting. Yeah. Anyway, and it was the end, but it was always packed to the ginnels. But again, where's the nearest place to Knock Hill? It felt like you drove through nothing for about 2 hours.
It was awful. They've now done updates for roads, and you can practically drive straight there.
You can drive to the track.
It's closer than Driftland.
Is it?
Yeah. Geographically, it's closer than Driftland.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's not far from Driftland.
Yeah,
though,
it's
is
close.
it?
Yeah.
It's close.
But
very close.
it's. I would prefer to do a Knock Hill
Than a
over a Driftland. That sounds a bit.
Well,
tight,
I'd only be allowed
but-
to do one of the two. So.
You will, yeah. You haven't got a fucking choice.
You're
have you?
going to put Crail.
Although will Crail, hello Crail. You bring like a porter cabin in a field.
which
Hello,
is
five
we'd like
people.
to bring you some drifters. All right, but it's £5 a head.
No way.
Don't bring a packed lunch.
Can you bring food in or not?
Can you bring food? Yes, but it has to be vetted by Sharon.
So
This is wet. This sandwich is wet.
Square sausage only.
I looked at other Scottish
Fuck
venues.
me.
I really wanted to make there be a Scotland event next year, and I
Yeah.
was looking at all these ovals and these other things, and I have certain people up there who offered to help with different things, and we just looked at them and like, there's seriously an oval up there that has a football pitch in the middle of it.
That's sick. That's pretty
How
cool.
crazy is that? It's not nice, but
Wait, what? A football pitch in the middle of it?
yes.
Does that sound like an Olympic thing?
Big oval though, really, that isn't it?
Is this
No, it's not big.
Oh, it's a small
quite
football. Is it
small
5 a
football.
side? It's a 5 a
Just-
so you
spot.
can't you can't even run like a figure, like a through the middle like NASCAR.
You could. It's a dirt line.
Oh yeah! Immediately, everyone who does fucking rallycross is like, guys,
I'm in.
What about we can do rallycross, football cross? It can be 3 crosses. It
take
can
a-
be rally, cross, football cross.
But you penalty shot as you cross the line. It's shoot on goal.
Do you remember that video that me, Adam Ivell, and Danny Wyman did
Yeah,
with what were they called? They're called football.
No.
I don't do football. I'm sorry, but it was a football thing.
Yeah.
There was this girl, and she's been on telly now.
She kicked a football through Danny Wyman's face.
She kicked a football through Danny Wyman's glass, and Danny Wyman didn't roll the window down as instructed. Actually, I don't know whether he was instructed. Either way, the football hit the glass exploded, and Danny Wyman charged them for a brand new S13.
But
piece of glass
imagine
from
having a
Nissan.
football pelted at you as you're driving it, maybe
Yeah,
60 mile an hour, and then have a football pinged off your head.
Do you know what? I think it was
That
supposed
sucked.
to go. It was supposed to go through the sunroof. He had a sunroof, and they're like, "Oh, do you reckon you can do some fucking drifting, and we'll pelt this fucking ball through your sunroof?" And Wyman's gone,
Sure.
"Whatever, you fucking
Sure.
idiots. Yeah, sure, go for it." And then he's just done laps.
Took a face full of glass.
And then this woman's, this bird's just. I mean, I'm like, oh, she's a good footballer. She's incredible. She does fucking.
It's the
shit
it's
that I can't
trick
even.
stuff,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
trick
It's like
stuff.
trick
That's
stuff,
exactly it. Yeah, and she just fucking goes. But instead of going through the thing, it just goes straight through
into
the
the
glass, straight through Wyman's head. You can see the shot of him. He's like this.
I can imagine all of the bods on the thinking of
Yeah, yeah.
suing glass.
Their insurance
Oh, mate,
company.
mate, yeah,
Your
exactly.
premium just quadrupled.
We had a stunt coordinator on site
Amazing.
who had spent the first hour
briefing.
going on about how, oh yes, I've worked with Top Gear. Oh, do you know that one where we drove a tank? Always with the where we drove this tank through this wall, and there was a car that went over. Oh yeah, I did that. I did that in my sleep. It was so a piece of piss. And I'm like, and then
You're here with
Wyman
us,
gets
dickhead.
hit by a football. And I'm like, this seems much more like chilled than what you're used to, and yet somehow
Infinitely
someone
more-
just got
infinitely
hurt.
worse, yeah, infinitely worse.
Anyway, crossovers for football. That's how we got to this. I'm sorry for going on a tangent. That oval sounds great, but like
But oval's an oval.
I don't know how. This is the thing. But you say that. Look at America. They're just like, yeah, fucking
Yeah, but
ovals.
they're transitioning into an infield that's totally.
Yeah, but I think the
Yeah.
culture around their ovals is a little bit different there to here.
NASCAR, bro.
Like,
NASCAR.
but
Yeah.
you can run good events at ovals, like Buxton.
Yeah, but it has to
was
be
good.
It was. To be fair, yeah, it was.
Minus online controversy this year was not great, but like
no, Butties fam.
Yeah, we didn't start that. we added fire to. No, we added petrol to a fire that was
Everyone
already
added
burning.
fire.
I don't think it was
You know-
gonna get let up anywhere. Everyone was on it.
so right, we're at the venue
Yeah.
in the morning. And the guy who actually owns the place, so I'd had very little to deal with.
Wait,
at
which
that
one? There's
point.
two. There's
No.
Matt. and
No, their dad.
Oh,
Their
okay, yeah, the
their
dad, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and he comes over and he's like, "Oh, your security searching these cars, looking for people's food," and I'm like, "What?"
Get the fuck out.
I'm like,
Get out.
So this is on the morning at the start of the event, and I end up going backwards and forwards, and I'm fighting them, and they're
Mac,
arguing with our
get out.
security.
No,
Going.
no. Are you telling me for real that you were asked to search people's cars?
I feel like this
Can
man's
we
come
refuse?
over as a joke.
No,
So
no.
he's drawn the short straw.
I kind of thought you were joking. I thought the whole thing was a bit of a fucking laugh. Like somebody had said, someone had bought like 1,000 beef patties, and they'd gone, fucking hell.
Setting up
I
their
hope
own stall.
I hope nobody fucking brings any food. And then they've made a passing comment to
So-
you, going, "Hey, just if you see anyone eating any food, just take it out of their hand," like as a joke. But you were asked
No,
to search
it
cars.
Was, but on the morning of the event starting, that's when we got really aggressively pushed on to do it, and I did my best to mitigate that and to make it a thing. But essentially, they were like, "Make sure you tell
Yikes.
people." So and we're at Buxton where there's no
Oh,
phone
we did.
signal.
We told
There's-
people.
There's no. Thanks, mate.
We told about 5,000 people
There's
to
no-
bring your own food.
There's no phone signal, so I go and find some internet somewhere. Like, write a post in like 3 seconds of just a heads up to
Don't bring
anyone
your food.
coming today. Don't bring food with you. Bang. An hour later, somebody comes up to me and they're like,
No.
"Have you seen that post?" And I'm like, "What
No.
post?" And then I go find some more internet and there's like 300 comments.
Don't bring food.
But I'm just like
Foodgate.
So I updated the post. I updated the post and said like, oh, sorry, it's this. Made it a bit more clear. People just kept going. People kept going. I updated it a third time and basically wrote, I don't personally give a shit whether you bring lunch or not.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance you're going to get stopped at gate with it. So if you really
Stopped
care,
at the border.
just sit in your car and eat your sandwich,
food.
then come into the venue.
It's so
and
petty.
It's petty.
It's the
but
pettiest thing
that's
ever.
it. That's it. So
10 out of
I
10
laughed
pettiest thing I've ever
for
seen
so
in my life.
long. It's
So
funny.
that was it, and such controversy. But in spite of that, the event for anyone who came, it were a decent event.
Yeah,
were a
it looked
good laugh.
great. Look, this
we
is
had,
the thing.
We had fun with it. It were a good mix up from what we normally do.
When people say about the BDC going to Buxton and they go, "Oh, fucking hell, the BDC's got also a bit of a step down." Like, look, Buxton is a very peculiar place as an event. It's the sort of thing you go when you first start drifting. You're like, "Oh, this is a lot of fun," but fuck me, if you fuck up, I've written off my car and that's the end of that. And now I've seen it countless times.
BDC 2019, like 7 nice cars got written off.
Just gone.
But this year when we did it, not one.
Yeah,
Zero.
it's impressive,
Zero
really.
cars. Because people by that point knew
Yeah.
and went,
No.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
It's ultimate jeopardy, but I think the main problem is because the place is, for want of a better word, I don't want to say the word dive. It's just not well kept.
So-
People haven't invested
let's
any
not- let's
fucking
have-
money in
let's
it.
not have an opinion on it. Do you think?
Let's not have
in
an opinion on it.
hindsight, Looking back at it, by doing events at the at Buxton, has it had an effect?
So
Going from circuits to Buxton.
all right, so this is the thing here. You're at a limited choice, right? That's the main thing. When I bought BDC, I said, I don't want to see it on ovals. I want to see it on big tracks.
Yeah.
But big tracks aren't letting me on.
No.
So that's not happening. This year, I was supposed to be doing a custom-built circuit.
Yeah.
We kept hanging on for a date, kept hanging on for the date, kept hanging on for the date.
Didn't come.
The date couldn't come. So I'm like, shit, we were supposed to do 2 rounds on this custom-built circuit.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I booked another T-side, and I booked Buxton.
Yeah.
And it had to happen that way.
Yeah.
But
It's a good fallback, but this is the thing. It happened the first time under Matt, was it? Was it under Matt?
Yeah, it was under Matt. It was a savage event because it was a full-blown BDC round.
Yeah.
This year, we put it to drivers. They didn't buy a season entry until they knew it was Buxton.
Yeah.
And then everybody bought. Well, not everybody bought. We wouldn't have been in as much shit. But the people who bought season.
Yeah.
And then, getting later in the year, we started seeing people who were on season weren't doing all the rounds.
Yeah.
And everybody's going, oh, economic impact, this and that. So I did a survey with the drivers, and out of the majority of people who'd bought season were like, yeah, I'm not going to do that round. To a point where it's like, fucking hell,
Can
we're
I
not
run
going to
the
be able to
fucking
run,
event?
so what are we going to do? And I was like, I'm going to have to cancel that event.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to cancel that event because partly on Buxton last year I was meant to do Battle Royale there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get staff for it because we were trying to run 3 events in a month in October. That was a mistake, but
Wow.
whatever. So I felt bad. So I was like, what can we do? And I was talking to Neil, and Neil was like, oh, I want to keep doing Matt Sowery. Like, could I bring that to Buxton? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So me and Neil went halves on the event.
Yeah.
I changed my side to a standalone competition.
Yeah.
We made it happen this year, through whatever means. So it's just one of them, like, you run an event wherever you can run it to the best ability that you have. And unfortunately, if you're then dropping out from doing a full BDC round, you're going to lose some people who don't want to come to it, like, from a fan level.
Yeah.
You've got no live stream. And then next thing, your budget isn't the same. And
No.
we still spent thousands of pounds on all them fireworks and pyro and all that cool stuff at the end.
It did look good, though. So, I mean...
But from my opinion, if there was a, I wouldn't drive Buxton in my car. That's
fair
true,
play.
which is fair enough. But then that's
Yeah, but there's multiple reasons why we can't. There's the fucking pits are like
yeah,
a
of course.
fucking... Like
but
the
like,
moon.
I understand the inherent risks of driving at Buxton.
You've seen it.
Countless people drive there and write cars off that at the time were worth money, some money, but now looking at it and looking at the value in which these cars are, and I hate saying because I still see it as worth, but I couldn't replace it. So if I need to replace it in its entirety, I wouldn't risk driving at Buxton. Now then, I understand your half of it because you go, well, what are we going to do? Just cancel a round? We're just not going to do anything? Or are we going to have 3 rounds because we can't drive anywhere? It goes back to the pulling and fucking about with venues and trying to get people interested enough to do events or do anything
Yeah.
in regards to drifting. Now, drifting, what's just happened yesterday? It was the Red Bull at Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
What do people go there for? Because the cars aren't driving up and down at 300
No.
mile an hour.
No.
They've gone to go and watch Formula 1 cars do donuts.
Yeah.
They've gone to go and watch Formula 1 cars,
Yeah.
rag it off the limiter,
Yeah.
and do donuts and do fucking drifting and do stupid shit because it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
and when a driver pulls up at the end of a year and blows the tires off in front of a crowd, the crowds go fucking ballistic.
But then, in order to do a street
That's
event like
drifting
that,
the whole.
is
No,
it-
it's just that's I'm just saying that as the spectacle. That's drifting the whole time. So the people want drifting. The problem being is that there's nowhere then that are willing to.
It's not
front
nowhere. It's
money.
not nowhere. It's not nowhere, is it? There are plenty of places. It's the problem is that it goes back to this whole thing with things get stale. Things
Yeah.
get stale. I remember saying to Motti in 2013, why are we going back to Liddon Hill for the 20,000th time? Now we'd fucking kill to go back to Liddon Hill.
Yeah, love it.
But like, why are we doing fucking Liddon Hill for 12 times? I don't want to fucking go there. It's horrible. It's at the fucking other end of the world. But not only that, like, you feel like you're fucking, I don't know. It's not that you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again, but you certainly do feel like you go into the same
And
tracks
you're
over
not
and over
obviously
again.
you're not the only person that's running events. There's
Yeah.
there's other
Seemingly
seemingly
loads.
more championships coming too to drive at the same places and do the same events for the same
Are there more than there are
makes it
socks in
less
this
special.
room?
input with no output, seemingly
Yeah.
because BDC's
Yeah.
struggled.
But then in my head, I would have done. I would have. See, the thing is, you would never get a chance to do this because you can never come at this with a year to prep ever.
No, yeah.
You can never come at this with a year to prep because you're
Mac
you're
could now.
having to no. You're having to no because there's no way of sorting debts out to then
Yeah, well, no, yeah.
reach a beginning where you can then move forwards. You would have to have a year of ringing every single big shopping mall, shopping centre in the
It's
UK
50,000 people.
and say, hey, and then creating this, as you say, Facebook is causing the problem because then they'll go, well, let's see who the fuck this British do. Right, let's have a look at the comments. Oh my good God, goodbye.
Yeah, it's a
Goodbye.
chicken and egg.
Goodbye.
It's a chicken and egg
Goodbye.
situation.
And-
Whereas F1 are like, they don't even need to do anything. Go, oh yeah,
No.
oh yeah, so bye.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the problem. Like you need, like, it sounds terrible. I'll go on a car park. But some of the best events I've ever been to in my life, as a spectator and as a driver, were on car parks.
But the best events are custom built circuits, 100%.
100%.
I've never got to do one as me
Yeah,
as
as
BDC.
you.
I had 2 booked for next year. I don't care. I'll talk about it now. I had NEC booked again to go back and do NEC again with
I loved NEC. It was well good fun. It was right just out of my ability.
with the indoor hall booked
Oh,
for
nice.
a car show.
Oh,
We're gonna do it.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
that would
that's
have
not
been
nice.
sick.
It sucks.
It was going to be
Yeah.
it was
That-
going to be
that was great.
mental, and we were going to go back to Nissan factory.
Oh, yeah.
So we had 2 customs on there for next year, and I'm gutted we've never got the chance to do it.
But you're saying that oh no, that was another company that was down to getting upset about what they'd seen on Facebook and things like that.
yeah. So
But they were. This is just not happening because it's not happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that we've had to cancel the year,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And you just think again, these things are not free to book.
No,
so
obviously
when
not,
they're
no.
secured, there's money there, there's invoices,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh wait, okay, this is over. Damn, like.
Yikes.
So anyway, yes, car parks make fucking amazing drift events.
Yeah.
But what did you see the other night on Facebook? Amongst all the fucking controversy, there were ex-BDC drivers from that era going, well, back in Sweeps' day, he took us to racetracks and everyone else just takes us to car parks and because it's about the money.
Yes, but this was
Fuck off,
no,
it's not
no,
about the
no.
money.
See, this is the problem, right? You've got that. I don't know. It's hard to say. So for me, back then, do you remember JDM All Stars?
Yeah, for
Do you
sure.
remember
yeah.
JDM All-Stars?
Not JDM All-Stars, but Drift All-Stars, the later iteration of it, or
Okay,
whatever.
well, JDM All Stars, my first ever real, like, oh, what the fuck is this, was I drove from Newcastle because I saw it on a flyer in a shopping centre in Manchester.
Yeah.
How are they distributing this? And it was a flyer this big, which I think we still have. JDM All Stars, and it wasn't teams. It was people like OG Dan Joyce with a camera, and he got in that fucking S15 and would fucking smash about, and a load of people just doing a bit of drift. I was like, what the fuck? This is fucking sick. This is ace. This is great. This is like not quite a competition, not quite, but the twinning, and it was just on a big car park. But the crowd was probably getting on for uncomfortable. It was probably close to what was probably about 10,000 people there.
Yeah.
And that was like on a dockside in Newcastle somewhere. Well, was it a dockside? Probably wasn't a dockside. It was on a big.
Sounds like Newcastle.
Sounds like Newcastle. It was the Newcastle up there. And to everyone else
Yeah.
down south, the one that's really far up there,
Yeah.
not the one that's near me.
Northeast Newcastle, not
Yeah.
northwest Newcastle.
I made that mistake once
Yeah.
years ago, about 2008, and I drove to Newcastle. Wrong Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yep. I also drove to the wrong Cheadle once as well.
Oh yeah, Chedley.
No, it's Cheadle.
No, it's Cheadle,
Cheadle.
yeah, I know.
No, it's Cheadle, but it's down near Stoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when sat-navs, I couldn't be bothered putting the full thing, so I was just like Cheadle.
The
there you
first
go,
bit,
safe.
Cheadle, and instead
I'll
of
drive
SK8,
home.
you
I
do.
was in. Where was I? I was in. It doesn't matter. Utoxeter. I was in
Yeah,
Utoxeter,
it's not
and
that
I put
far.
Cheadle in. I was like, I'm going home. Oh, it says I'll be there in 20 minutes. Yay!
That's close.
Nice. I got to the end of this village in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna die. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So the when JDM All Stars were doing that, it felt like a competition, but that was somehow like it felt like I don't know how to put this, like skaters. It felt like. It's hard to.
It's
felt
all the
like,
people that were like extreme sports people
Yes.
that grew up and got cars.
It
and
was
then
networked-
went, hey,
that's-
drifting.
That's all of us though,
Yeah,
because
it was.
that's the natural progression. If you're no
Yeah.
good on a BMX or a mountain bike or a whatever,
You're scared to hurt yourself. I'm literally wearing
you
a.
put yourself in a metal box and fly yourself around.
I'm literally wearing a jumper that says "I don't skateboard because I'm afraid to hurt myself."
Yeah, pretty much.
And,
That's why I
and
didn't
that's
skateboard,
exactly
that's
why
I
you
went
stop.
on a BMX.
Is that they can live up there, and my ankles can thank me. And
One thing I've never been able to do,
But they-
despite having good balance.
I bought a skateboard last year.
Oh, wow. How are your
unnecessary side note. Well, I went to my local skate park with one of my friends,
Yeah.
and I came off on a flat bank
Yeah.
and snagged it and hit the floor and winded myself and have never touched the skateboard again since. Cause
You realise that you're old.
Yeah, you
know,
realise
like,
that you
I'm
can't do
old,
this shit
I'm
anymore.
fucking 34 years
Yep.
old. Like, I should
Fuck me.
Like I
I'm just
remember-
going to turn this. It's
Yeah,
not turned off.
yeah.
It's just that.
I remember when I did a very similar thing. I got a jump bike again because I don't fit on a BMX anymore. So I was like, oh, I'll get a jump bike. It's like a happy medium. And I went to where my old dirt jumps were in Highgrove, and the council tried to cut trees down to thingy. So I spent like a day clearing them, like all the shit out of the way. And I was like, oh, someone's like built little bits and stuff. And and they all used to be like tabletops to start. And then they'd cut the centres out. So they're quite big gaps. So I was like, oh, fine, I'm sure I could do this. I cased the first one so hard. I threw myself over the handlebars, railed my face, my shoulder, my arm, everything. I was like, oh my God, I'm 28. I'm old as fuck. I don't bounce anymore.
I don't bounce anymore.
It's just a mess.
So,
Anyway, that's
Car
the cool
parks,
people were doing stuff. They were doing it on car parks.
JDM All Stars, Drift All Stars.
Loved it.
Do you think that was a thing of timing with that, where
Yeah, because it all went
Niall
Pete Tong
was
well
able
quickly.
to like approach companies who've never had anything like that and go, "I'll give you this much money for
Yep.
this area."
Yep.
And they never got the money, so it could
Nope.
never happen again.
Well,
Yes,
I think-
is he in fact responsible for
I don't know, but
for all of
there's-
these problems?
for some
Somebody
of
who
these-
took a shot at me this year was like, "Oh, you're like Niall Gunn because no one ever gets paid," and I was like, "That cuts me deeply."
Oh,
Like that's from way before my era, but now I know if I ever approach a venue and I go, "Hey," and they go, "Yeah, we work with Drift All Stars." "Oh yeah, we work with Niall Gunn." I'm like,
walks
"Well,
out the
this,
door.
this
Sorry.
conversation."
I'm so
was
sorry for your
like-
loss.
on behalf of all of us, I apologise.
Well, this is another thing. If
Actually, that's before me. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I know that obviously talking to people, but I never experienced that firsthand.
no,
So
there was a time where people weren't able to drift until someone paid a bill. I remember
Yeah.
that. Was that
you're not coming in.
Wimbledon? Not Wimbledon. Wherever it was. I can't remember where it was.
You're not
Wembley.
coming in. Wembley.
Wembley Stadium. Yeah, so people weren't allowed to start engines until somebody paid a bill. So everyone just sat
Well-
there at like 12 o'clock.
That's how you get shit paid, though, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose. Yeah, if you want to get fucking paid, that's the way of fucking doing it. Everyone's here now, but no one's paid a bill. I'll tell you what, get
Fuck
fucked.
your event. Yeah. Hey, you've got them this far.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Pay me.
I've had some hairy situations this year, not to that degree, but like because it's been a challenge this year, and it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
like financially ever since Driftland, and even running up to Driftland, situations around money in the business have been tough. And like fucking hell, we got to the final hour for paying shit a lot of times. Like
Yeah.
It's just the challenge of it. But, you you do whatever you need to do to make it happen, right? To run the events.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is the thing. I get the impression you've not taken this decision lightly. You've not just gone, I can't be bothered. I get the impression this has been something that's been weighing on you for a long time, and I imagine you've probably spoke to a fuck ton of people to make sure that everything is in place to make sure that the most amount of people are okay.
My saying this year to a lot of people when talking about it were, it's not over until I give up. And that's literally what I've told people on multiple occasions this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that statement is only true to a certain point.
Right.
Because when you reach a certain point, you're like, wow, like, at least with me here, this just can't continue. And that's the stage we've reached. And then probably came to that realization somewhere in early November, just after we did the MSD demos at Silverstone.
Yeah.
And then from there was like a month of really difficult conversations and speaking with the brands we work with, speaking with the people who've helped us, like people who've gone out on a limb and lent us money this year to ensure it continues, and having to be speaking to people and going, hey, okay, well, sorry you helped, but it's over.
Yeah.
And that's been tough, and there's been a few awful weeks. So when people this week have gone, oh, how are you? Has it been all right? And like, don't get me wrong, getting called a fucking scammer all over Facebook by 100 random people who've never met me or never spoke to me. I have no idea of how much money I've actually put into drifting. But now we're beyond that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the weight's lifted off my shoulders, because the last few weeks have been crazily fucking hard. Like,
I bet. I can imagine that a lot of this comes down to shit and pressure that is just you don't really need.
You get to a point where you literally... There was a time between round 2 and 3, so between Driftland and Teesside, I worked over 100 hours in a week. You just try and fit the logistics of working a 100-hour week. I have a kid, I have a girlfriend, I have a life,
Yeah.
I want to do other things, and BDC
rapping? He wants to do rapping. I can't believe you've jacked BDC in to do rapping. That's just so crazy, man.
Well, that was going to be the end.
I love rapping. Rapping's never cost me tens of thousands of pounds.
It's not even a joke either. You genuinely do as well, which I think is like kind of you like. When you did a live, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then you made the live a video, and I was like, I watched the full thing. Like, what the fuck is this? He's rapping. He's rapping. He's rapping competently. He's rapping. I don't understand what's happening. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Let's just listen to this. Like, all right, this is all right. I don't understand. Why is it coming out of your mouth? Why hasn't this ever been a thing? Why haven't I ever known that this is a thing? This is so
I've rapped
weird.
since I was like 15, and I'm 34, so that's like a long time.
That's a while, yeah.
I've been doing it a long time, but I've never had the confidence to put it out there. But I think I reached a certain point this year, especially because the first thing I rapped about publicly was BDC.
Yeah.
And like that was just so following the controversy from Buxton and following how tough it was and following people talking shit on the internet and people just many situations.
I'm so sorry about that. Encouraging people to be
like,
dickheads.
It doesn't matter. Like if people just banter about it, that's it. Some of the memes were fucking hilarious as well. The one with Leo with the panda pops. It's fucking brilliant. Like
look, it's a strange one because the reality is here, as I feared, it does seem to be that I don't really feel like, and I don't think you feel like there can be a legitimate future for the BDC.
I think, like I said earlier, that I think that if somebody wanted to take the brand, the expectation that brand is going to have of people to not only provide an event with a free live stream that's of a good quality, to have a driver grid of an amazing caliber, probably including people from Europe who are either very difficult to secure or you just have to pay them. And I've never paid a driver to drive.
No.
Like that's a Dave thing. And I just don't get it. Like I don't get how he makes that work. But and then people are going to want. They're going to want an event with a big screen. They're going to want an event with a wicked PA. They're going to want this and that. And
doing the same thing again. Doing the BDC the way the BDC. Not to say you've done it wrong, because I don't think you have.
I think I have done it wrong.
No, I don't think you did. I think that there was a natural progression and a change. And I honestly, looking back, I can't tell you what point there was
right or
that you
wrong
could have
way
done
to
anything different. But I can tell you now, if anyone did, as you just said before, they would have to change so much.
Yeah, I think it's
to stuff I can't even fathom. I don't even know what you do.
There's a space there now. BDC's gone for somebody to build something new, and I really wish people the best in doing that, and it's going to be a fucking uphill challenge for whoever does it to get that industry together, because this whole thing hasn't failed because we didn't get enough sponsors. It hasn't failed because we didn't get enough drivers. It hasn't failed because not enough people came. It hasn't came because I made some bad decisions. It's come because of a bit of all of it, and when there's that many problems and that many things that are like apparent with it to be an issue,
snowballs to one big one.
Exactly that. It just snowballs into this situation now where, it's dead. And
it's hard. It's hard,
tough.
isn't it? It's hard.
See, we don't obviously. Aside from, I mean, we don't. I've not known you for a long time. We're not historically friends. We've been associates for a long time.
Oh, he's going to start shit talking, you know.
No. But then we know you not to be a scam artist. We've spent enough time with you to know that you're not scamming people.
Welcome to the Law Origin podcast, where we have to say things like
I just have
that.
to caveat.
I don't feel like
I've never scammed
that's what I mean.
anyone.
I have to say
and
that.
The fucking raffle thing, like before I did
We
it.
were
Now,
talking about this.
hindsight-
We were fucking
hindsight,
talking about this.
Have you had a hindsight thinking maybe I should have gone live?
Obviously
in
has.
the
Obviously,
morning?
hang fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I
Okay.
saw the comments on the brief times. I probably go on Facebook once or twice a week, and somehow it manages to give me the most. I have to swipe away from it. The most controversial shit
straight
And
away.
The first thing was like, oh, that 350's been given away. Oh, who's the winner?
Cool.
Da, da, da. End of story. Comments. No, don't read the
So-
comments, Alex. Don't read the comments.
That morning, 3 people I spoke to, and like, right, what people need to think is, here's the scenario. I've had like a month of solid soul-crushing work. I'm tens of thousands of pounds out of pocket. I'm like, damn, I've just lost
Because
my
you're working now
livelihood.
to.
I've lost my livelihood. I've
Yeah.
had to make Chris redundant a month before Christmas. I'm out before Christmas. I ain't got my kid a Christmas present yet, and I've got no fucking money left in this world. I'm sitting there clearing out the office,
Yeah.
and I'm like, damn, we need to release this heavy PR today. The raffle's not sold out. It's been dragging its feet. We had to take it offline for a bit because somebody reported us to the fucking gambling agency, and we got cease and desist. Thanks, BZ Media. I'm sure that was you.
Amazing.
Oh, that was one of the questions actually. Fraser
So-
Fraser wanted to know if you could kill him with a single blow.
I have 2 black belts in martial arts.
Nice.
So
It's great to know.
So like, you know, I'm in this like depressed situation. I'm totally bummed out, and I'm like, I spoke to 3 people, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking pull this raffle and put a post up. I know I'm gonna catch some flack for it, but you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. And 3 people went, don't do that. Everybody's gonna say it's a scam. And why
Yeah.
the fuck did I not listen?
Yeah.
Because
3 whole people said that to you, and you ignored all of them. Why?
I took my survey group and went.
We said, you said actually,
Yeah.
why didn't he just
Hindsight,
do
you
a
should've-
morning post,
yeah.
half price tickets, 2 for 1, get a few out in the morning, and then announce it an hour afterwards, and then be like, right, and then do a
Well,
live.
I just sent everyone.
It could
the
be
raffle
anything. It could be a
numbers.
piece of
I
shit
had to
live
send-
like we're doing
I
now.
had to send 800 emails out of everybody's numbers. And on it, I said, we're going to draw it as soon as possible now you've got your number. So I kind of went, well, everybody's in. They've got the numbers. We'll just pull it. And I just assured to myself the fact that I didn't want to sit on camera and do something because I was
of what-
gutted.
Yeah,
I
I
understand.
know.
I looked
I know.
at
And
this from the
Jesus,
outside.
that is my one regret of BDC so, far.
for
is
me-
that-
Really, that's
For
your
me-
one regret of the BDC at this point.
So for me,
There you
from
go.
the
You have it, ladies and
outside,
gentlemen. Max
I-
one regret.
I instantly, as soon as I saw the post, I saw the screenshot, and
Yeah.
I immediately went, shit. Like, that was my first thing. And I was like, I'm not horsing the race. I didn't buy a ticket. I'll be honest, straight away, I'm not bothered in the slightest. I feel like I
Mate,
understand
your drift
why-
car's parked in a car
Yeah,
park.
exactly. Like,
You ain't storing any more drift cars,
exactly.
fam.
I've got no space. If I had the unit, maybe might have been in, but I've got no more space for shit. And I went shit straight away. Like, he should have gone live for a minute. We're gonna pull this tonight. We're gonna do half price tickets, and we're gonna do 2 for 1. So you're essentially getting 4 tickets for the price of 1. And then I would have gone. It starts now. Prep yourself for this. The draw is cut off at 3.
Mac has done no prep for this, clearly.
I know, but then the draw is going to be done at 6 o'clock. If you're not there, that's it. So shit.
In
everyone's got their
hindsight,
numbers.
bitch.
100%.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I fucked up and I hold my hands up. And
I know you've done it,
apologise
honestly.
to everyone who. And then since then it's been all like, well, someone on BDC staff won. No, they didn't. It was Mac's friend who won. I've never even met the guy before. And the guy who's won was just talking to me, and he was like, yo, am I going to get fucking lynched if I take this car to a drift event
He's
somewhere? And I was
nervous to
like,
actually take
Take
delivery
it.
of the
I was like,
vehicle.
I'll have it.
potentially.
Yeah. What you should do, and you won't listen to this, but what you should definitely do is you should livery the car, massive BDC livery, an enormous, like, British Drift Championship down the car and just turn up at events and drive really, really badly. like turn up with fake wheels and pieces of shit and just like no tires, part warns, and just crash regularly, because that will piss off so many dickheads. And after all, isn't that what we're all about?
That's what our whole
So
ethos.
I don't know, man. Like I fucked up a bit with that, and
And I
people
know
were upset about
the
it.
way I
and-
started about with the we know you well enough, even though we've only met you a few times, you're not a scam artist.
Some of the
And I know you've done it honestly and
some
shit.
of the comments of like, well, Mac's making off with 30 grand, and I'm like, and people are going, well, they just did this and then they shut the business down, and I get it. Some of it you can look at it in a negative lens and go, it's like this and that, but like, I exited this business with literally no money. All the
you've not
proceeds
gained
from
in the
this raffle
slightest.
have gone into running the season. We
Yeah.
only raffled the car because, I'll tell you why. Earlier, I mentioned that sponsor pulled out
Yeah.
because of what happened.
Yeah.
I was counting on that money to pay for the venue hire at Driftland.
Yeah.
So when that didn't come through, I went,
Yeah, shit.
shit, what are we going to do? And this
Yeah.
car, for people who don't know that car, I bought that car partly to have a guest driver car for
Yeah.
BDC,
Yeah.
and partly so Lindsay could drive it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to tell my girlfriend, oh, that car we're building for you, yeah, we're actually
Not
going to
yours.
raffle it off. And then at the end of it, when it gets raffled off, and then people are like, well, that was a scam. And I'm like, we've literally funded the season with it. I've exited the company as the biggest creditor. Am I the biggest creditor? The
guess you
business
are,
owes me
yeah,
the
of course you
most-
are.
Owes me the most money. Like, and
Yeah.
and I'm telling them, people are like, and he scammed everyone, and I'm like, fuck's
No,
sake.
quite the opposite. He scammed himself.
Yeah, he fucked himself over massively.
He played
Yeah,
himself.
people. I've had some really good business support from people this year, and they've looked at it and they've looked at what I did last year, and they've looked at this year and they've gone, why the fuck did you keep doing this?
Yeah.
And
But it takes
The thing is-
you to get to that point where
Well,
you might still be going,
last
no,
year-
we can make it work, we
last
can do
year,
this.
I
Yeah.
only had one intention. From the minute I bought BDC, there was only one thing I wanted to do, and that was
Scam people. Let's clip that. All right, that's it. That's it. See you later, everyone.
Done.
Mac Frost exposed. I only wanted to beat sweeps. I only wanted to beat UKDC. That was my only
Yeah,
goal
okay.
last year, and we just hemorrhaged money to make BDC the best it could be.
Yeah.
Round one,
It's my child screaming in the corner.
clearly calling me a scammer. So,
She bought a ticket.
round one of BDC 2021, we spent £70,000 running that event. Spent
Damn.
£6,000, no, £5,000 on walls, plus £1,000 in insurance for a telehandler, someone to drive a telehandler, and then got charged £1,000 by the walls company for an event where nearly everyone drove for free because they were owed rounds. All the sponsors were on reduced rate
Oh,
because of that.
good God.
And we were at a limited crowd capacity, half of which has to be used by drivers' crew, and half of which went to people who basically were owed tickets from the year before. So it was just like straight away, it was like, wow,
Yeah.
that was a terrible decision. But
This is
people loved it, so we kept doing it, and we
Yeah.
did it and did it and did it. Got to the end of the year, and I went, well, we just ran this year where we had the most drivers anyone's had in the modern era. I know back in the
I know,
day there
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
130 driver grids and whatever. We got 106 people at Night Fight. We came off Night Fight, which was like a universally praised event.
Yeah.
Right? We did all this great stuff. We were having conversations with big companies, and we were like, yeah, things could be really good next year.
Yeah.
So at that point, because the business was fucked, I went, all right, here's a loan to the business for all the money I have in this world.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it'll be fine. We'll do this, we'll do that. The Vosna deal's going to be huge next year. This
Yeah.
is going to happen. That's going to happen. That was a terrible mistake. You know what? Not just the raffle.
Pulled
That was
from underneath
probably
your,
the other one that I regret. Like,
Yeah.
because I could have walked away then at 2021 and just mic dropped at the end of it and gone,
Yeah.
fuck
Son of
it.
a-
Yeah, but you knew there was a possibility. This is the thing. This is why someone like you was the right person to be in this position, because you knew there was a possibility
What,
that
fuck?
it could work. No,
terrible,
somebody who
Alex.
actually had some fucking vision and was
Yeah.
actually in it to make it grow. And then when you've tried everything, you've tried every single fucking avenue, and you've got to say, you know, you yourself will know if you've tried every avenue, and I think you at this point in time can happily, hand on heart, say
There's
that you
not,
have.
like,
I think
like,
you have.
You couldn't have found.
It's okay. You can,
better-
it's okay. You can stop.
You can rest now, my friend.
You can sleep now, sweet child.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's over now. Like, I did it. I fucking tried so hard, and I did it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I failed to make a living out of it for 2 years. I did whatever.
That's
all
most
my
businesses,
crypto
though.
money went in it. All the money from selling that house I owned went in it. Like, it was.
Yeah.
There
It
is
was a
point,
whole situation where
you could have said, hindsight, we could have pumped the brakes a long time ago. 21, we could have gone, we've done sick, we can't do any more. But you're and I know you are also going to be the people that go, but what if?
Yeah.
But if you
Always
pump,
what
if you
if.
pump the brakes or you take anything out of the events, like this year coming into round 1 at Teesside, I knew the driver grid was smaller. I knew that the sales weren't doing as good, but I still had the big screen there. Even though it cost more than it cost last year, I still had the big PA, still did everything. I ran it because I knew the second I took anything away was the minute that people would start going, well, this is shit.
This is cheapened off
Because you're
now,
not just appealing to drivers, you're appealing to the fans, you're appealing to the brand, like, you know, to sell that brand to sponsors. So you have to make those decisions. And then it was always the philosophy that if you build it, that they'll come.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people just stopped coming.
No, but then nobody saw because it's like you can go through COVID knowing that there's an end, right? Knowing that there's an end, and for years everyone was like, oh, it's going to end, and when it ends, everyone's going to go back to the pubs, go back to the events, and start going back out again. And then as soon as we were all starting to feel like, yeah, we can all fucking go out again, your fucking petrol tank was worth half, your fucking electricity is now double, your fucking gas is now 3 or 4 times much, your mortgage is now about to become double. Like, I mean, how... War. Although apparently
war.
that's nearly over now.
Well,
but the point is,
it's going
like
to end with an eternal sun.
the eternal sunshine. Finally, all the fucking solar panels on my flat in Stockport will be
gonna
getting
work.
some decent shit.
First off, they're going to be cleaned by the dust. They're just going to be instantly in for sun.
Thank you, Stockport Council.
It'll be the wasteland, and somebody will still
The
be stood there
wasteland.
just screaming.
Oh, look.
Mad Frost scam people.
I can't believe he scammed people.
Imagine if the only survivor was someone that believed that you scammed people. Fuck, for the rest of my life, I'm going to hate Mac Frost.
Yeah, the
and
whole
Mac
of-
Frost only.
I'll survive. It'll be me and that person having to survive together in the wasteland,
Yeah,
just on a complete stalemate.
stare at you
And the whole
every
of
day.
society then builds on that, and you then become the devil, and he's just like fucking hating on you with all 3 of his cats that
Yeah.
survived.
Amazing. Cats will survive.
Of course, they'll survive. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. It's just fucking bullshit. We're now at over an hour. Do we want to?
Are
Do
we
we want
doing
to
Q&A?
continue?
I want to know what the people want to know.
We have a minor problem, and that is I asked.
I'm going to check the thing here. I'm going to go for a wee.
Do you want to
start
check?
Q&A.
Well, the problem is the cues from the other day are on the phone that's currently recording. Take that off your head.
Yeah, I forgot that was on my head.
And then the ones that I did today should be on here. I've got. I'm not going to read who. Oh, shall I read it? This is a good one. This is from Bryn. Bryn says, I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of negativity. So at some point, I'd like to break it up with, what is a good moment for your time running the BDC and a time that everything just clicked? Huh? Has it? No, it's still. I think it's still on. It doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? All right. Well, if you can just stop the live. To be honest, we are basically.
If you're on the live, listen to the full podcast again. Listen to that hour of screaming and shouting, and then listen to this bit with the Q&A.
Yeah, which will be Saul, no, it doesn't matter. Close that fucking door, man. It's freezing out here. I mean, it is freezing out here. So yeah, a good moment when running the BDC, a time when everything clicked together and you were happy with everything. Time when you went home and you went, wow, everything is fucking sick.
Right. So, funnily, Bryn asked me basically this question on the podcast the other
Fuck's
night.
sake, Bryn. Fuck's sake.
Repeating yourself, Bryn.
Stop fucking ruining shit, Bryn.
So right, there's always certain defining moments of things, and I think that one of the probably the most special moment to me in owning BDC was at round 1 of that Teesside event when I knew we were just hemorrhaging money and I knew what it was, but the venue was rammed with people to the capacity limit, definitely not over it, and
Definitely not. Why would you do that? That would be stupid, wouldn't it?
and the driver grid was packed and people were buzzing. The layout was mental with all those walls. I helped to design that line, and that's the only time I did that, and it was one of the craziest things we've ever seen. And I just sort of sat there just after Pro-Am qualifying, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is something I've put together this year.
Yeah.
And that was a great moment. And then the other one, weirdly, at the Buxton Don't Bring Your Pack lunch event, where we got Connor Shanahan and Jack Shanahan there. They were just doing the Matt Sowery. They weren't doing the competition.
Yeah.
so they were just doing the Matt Sowery, and they had asked because the Matt Sowery was just a standard Buxton kidney oval layout, whereas we did the BDC line. They said, "Can we do a drift battle on that line in these these 325s?" And we were like, "Fuck yeah, go out and do it." So we hyped the crowd up. We got them out. They did a battle. The judges who were like, "Yeah, we'll see it one more time." Then we got Sebastian Fontaine and Harry Kerr to do one as well in 325s.
Yeah.
And the judges were like, "Yeah, one more time." So me and Mike Leeson, just from the tower, just went, "Let's send all 4 out together."
double jeopardy. Let's just go fucking batshit crazy.
Line, and this is where we're talking about Buxton's a deadly track if you mess up.
Yeah.
You're seeing drivers like the Shanahan, Sebastian, Harry Kerr, who done one lap of that line, all went out and ran a perfect 4-car tandem door on door around that line. And that moment was just mental of like what can be done. And yeah, so those were 2 fucking awesome moments.
Do you remember when I asked for you to go one more time at Buxton when we were...
Oh, you
absolutely.
You know what?
Got doored.
Years go by, probably a decade's gone by since I last thought about that. Fuck you, man.
Sorry.
Remember, this car that I'll never admit was reshelled entirely because Saul
said one more time.
Begged them to go one more time.
Because it was sick, and then you got doored because someone span. Then everyone didn't know behind.
Nobody realised, and then I just got T-boned, and the car was folded in half.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, so we have a problem. The problem is all the questions from 2 days ago, those are on a phone that's currently recording.
Yeah, but I think that the live...
No, that's fine.
Is it on?
No, the live's off now. That was just fine. Can you access on your phone the questions from either yesterday or the day before? Because since I've done this, as soon as I went live, it then stopped the story from being able to be seen. So we have only 4 questions at this moment in time. So that's not really.
What are those good questions, or are they all just how does it feel to scam people?
No,
you ruined drifting.
No. It says, does BDC stand for Big Dick Comparison? I would say that's probably a fair thing.
That's a well-known fact that it is.
Insta boost. Crashing is fun. Why is drifting dying? That's some
why
real
is drifting dying?
Positivity.
Yeah, probably because of comments and questions like that. Like, why is it dying?
That's a big question.
It's dying because people have made it a little bit unsavoury on the internet.
I blame Facebook entirely. Instagram seems to have, although we're reading this question here.
This isn't a good.
Yeah, this isn't a good one.
Good one for Instagram. No, man, lack of support all around.
Yeah,
that's the short answer.
Companies are starting to see the damage that things like Facebook have and are doing and are pulling out generally. And I think anything that is trying to rely on Facebook, regardless of what it is, even my private business that I run separately, we do not touch Facebook at all because it's just a fucking cesspool of shit cunts. All of you, every single last one of you.
Are you listening to this? Do you like Facebook? It's your fault.
Yeah, no, just stop using it. It isn't for anything. When you really feel like it, you stop using Facebook for a long period of time, you genuinely feel better, and you can't quite put your finger on why, and then you'll realise it's because you stopped using. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What is the next one? Drifting ability. Is the BDC going to be sold on to a new ownership, or is it gone forever? We've covered that about a million times. Campo SMS, pull up or pull back hydro? Great question. I like a pull up. Because of Streeto reasons.
I don't drift.
He doesn't
I
drift.
have
Why
no
would he
opinion.
drift? He has no opinion on this. Why would the owner of the British Drift Championship drift? Do you have the questions from the other day?
I'm trying to find them. I don't know how.
See, this is the problem. I took
a
screenshot because I knew that this would fucking happen, and then
if you took a
I screenshot
it would be in the Photos app on the phone, surely.
But the phone is over there recording.
There's the phone that's recording. No, I've kind of fucking owned myself, really. They were all pretty good, to be fair.
To be fair, we've covered quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered a lot of the questions that people had messaged me.
Is that still recording?
That is still recording.
All right, good.
So a lot of things that people had messaged me, we've covered.
Yeah.
Be it in jest or whatever, not at your expense. Obviously, we don't want you to go away upset.
No.
Never do
still
it
to
again.
be still to be our
Not be
friends.
relevant
Yeah.
to come back after this.
No, come back. Tell us about all the fucking how great everything is since you fucking stopped. Although we're basically kind of doing that. Yeah, you know.
There must be a massive weight lifted off your shoulders, though.
Like, for sure. Because if you just fighting problems, so this is what I said to someone the other day. I spent so much of this year fighting fires. Eventually, I looked round and I was like, "Shit, I'm in a burning building."
Yeah.
You know the pressure of it, and you knew when it went down there were going to be so many people that were so quick to come out the woodwork and be like, well, if Dave Egan still owned it, this would never happen, or if this happened, or back in my day in 2013 when it was great and this happened, and you knew all that was going to be there, and it was, and that's the fucking cancer of it all anyway. Like, and there's so many people who never do anything to support it, and this is just me going to run my mouth now, but
Go for it. That's what the end of the podcast is for.
There's so many people that haven't supported it and haven't done anything.
But we'll pass comment.
Just want to come and shit on it or shit on me.
And this is what Facebook is for and why it's terrible.
And the whole culture around that is fucking awful.
Yep.
And there's so many people that this year have been a part of BDC that are going to lose out and are gutted and whatever. And they're all looking at it as well, just going, well, this thing everybody liked and everybody tried so hard to make succeed has failed.
Yeah.
And all these other people just want to come along and shit on it. And that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, if you're one of those people doing that, then just, know...
It's unfair.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Go fuck yourself.
Diss you in a rap song.
That's the...
Oh, can you do a diss track?
Yeah.
And see if some
there
drivers
are
will
some
do
unreleased ones.
Sick. That is funny.
Oh, I'm so glad there are. That's great.
Yeah.
Is there an unreleased one about
You need
us?
to get
There
a
should be.
Discord. You should get a Discord and release them all on there.
Yeah, all of the illegal podcasts that we had to delete or get rid of, they're all on Discord.
Yeah. Join our Discord. Link will be in the bio.
Yeah.
Or in the
it won't.
comment section
won't.
or something.
It won't. Just find it. I can't
Just-
be all showing
just
you where it
search
is.
Law
Look,
Origin
do
on
you not
Discord,
know
it's
how
fine.
to use the internet, for fuck's
I mean,
sake?
I went on Discord and was like, oh my god, there's areas of the internet I know nothing about.
Yeah.
I feel like a
Oh,
dinosaur.
if you think
Loads of
Discord's
people over
hardcore,
there.
you
No,
should have
it's
seen
like- it's not-
IRC, Internet Relay Chat, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's seemingly there's people on there having a really good time.
And the best of it, you can just talk to random people that you would never really have got involved or talked to, and it's just another. I mean, I know Ben who runs Sujigiri, which is the simulating. They do they make cars. They've done our cars.
Oh yeah.
They do obviously tracks and stuff. They've got a massive following. I think they're the biggest in the UK.
Wow.
Like 6,000-7,000 people on there. But I know that those guys, I speak to Ben on Facebook, but then he's like, man, don't message me on Facebook, message me on Discord. That's like
exactly.
That's like his Facebook.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
His social media.
Why would anyone use Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I always forget because I live on. I don't live on Messenger, but like I contact. My
yeah, that's the thing.
friends on
Messenger is a thing.
Yeah, I
Messengers.
comment. I speak to my friends on Messenger, so I naturally think that people will pick up Messenger, but obviously their Messenger is Discord because they can do chats, they can do lives, they can do whatever. It's its own complete little world.
Yeah, they have like audio chats, don't they?
Yeah,
that sort
and
of-
it's a world that I am learning about, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to do more with it in the future.
Yeah.
It's just difficult at the moment with shit computers and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been fun. I would have loved to have read the rest of the fucking. I'm almost tempted to. No, because then there'll be a recording here. I could just say the camera died.
You've just said that though.
What do you mean?
You
Oh
can
yeah.
go up and get it. I am worried that we didn't actually go live on Instagram.
We did because I watched it.
You watched it, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, don't
fine.
worry.
Okay.
Did we get loads of hateful comments?
Yes. No, I'm just saying yes.
We'll be able to read them back. Did you click?
I don't know. It wasn't on. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't on when I went back to it.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happened to it.
Well, I was watching it on here.
I don't know what happens to it.
I don't know. I don't.
should
We're
go
This
live
is
now.
great
We're
content
such-
for the people listening right now.
We're so old men. I know this is fucking terrible, isn't it? Is there any way of bringing the BDC back? Probs FAQ, but still. Do you know what? I'm trying to use this on an iPad. Is the fucking just go away? Goodbye. Right. Anyway, this is fuck me. It's cold as well. It doesn't help that it's fucking minor. What is it right now?
I went for a wee just, and I nearly burst into flames walking through the door. It's so nice.
It's
and
warm as shit in
inside.
there, isn't it?
So nice.
Why won't this thing show me how fucking?
It's too cold.
Because it's too cold. Yeah, it's like it feels about -1 at this moment in
Yeah,
time.
my
I
feet
don't know
are
why we're still
freezing.
fucking out here. We should probably go the fuck in. Anyway, this has been the Low Origin podcast, podcast number 29. This has been Mac. We will have you on, despite you being not relevant. I mean, we're barely relevant. Let's be honest.
Just a year from now, I'm going to come back like everybody does, and I'm going to shit on whoever's doing drifting now and go,
Yeah.
they're doing it all wrong.
They're
You
doing
should
it all
do-
wrong.
You should
Fuck
just get
them.
in comment sections on Facebook and just shit talk
I will,
everybody.
be,
Yeah.
I will be the cancer.
I will be the cancer.
Nah, not at
I
all.
am the cancer.
Not at all. So, look, my closing speech for the people is that I genuinely hope people support whatever there is in drifting
Yeah.
left this year in the fucking wasteland.
What's your chosen
Because-
championship?
Two. There's
Number two.
No,
Who
there's
has
two.
number two?
No, there's two.
No, there's 25 of them. Who
Because-
has number two?
Because they're very different and they're for different reasons. So Winter Battle Series, Neil Dawson, KD Customs,
Okay,
they're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
up
yeah.
at Scotland
Yeah.
with people in shit E36s. Obviously not your guys' scene, but
Yeah,
the
okay.
driving that is there for people to push themselves driving level
Yep.
to do it in low spec cars and whatever. And he's putting, Neil, like everything he does, he's putting a lot of money and a lot of love into it.
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah.
it for the right reasons. It is at Driftland, so it does divide me a little bit on a personal level. But go support it because it's important. Even go support Driftland, that's important too.
Yeah.
Because
Never thought you'd be saying that.
But he's
on a
bigger
podcast,
than
but
this.
he's
bigger
No,
than that.
He's
he's
growed.
bigger than that.
He's
Everything
growed,
is-
big boy now.
everything
big boy
is
pants.
bigger than me, right? I'm just a guy who loved drifting, who got involved. So it's big. It's bigger than me. So support whatever drifting. And secondly, I think that the best championship this year in the UK is going to be Drift League because they're moving to two classes. They've got a solid calendar. It's well split up. I've offered Gordon any help I can have. He was like, "Get the fuck away
He was
from
like,
my
don't you
championship."
come anywhere near me.
You are a fucking dick. Stay the fuck away from
Mac
me.
Frost, not what. There's going to be security checking boots from Mac
Yeah.
Frost.
Mac Frost and sandwiches.
Scam artist. No, so yeah, I think Drift League is going to do great things. They're super driver focused. They've got. I know what the prices
Don't-
are. I'm
it
not
is.
going to talk about it here. But Gordon is just like, I'm like, why are you doing that? But that's it. Like, so I think that the drivers will be there, and I think they're going to push to do it. But they're not trying
Yo.
to replace BDC. And anybody who's listening to this thinking, oh, that's going to be the premier drift champion. Fuck off. Like, no, it isn't. It's going to be Drift League, and it's there for the drivers. But I think the drivers, it's important they go and support it, and they do their thing.
Yeah.
And for the people and the brands that have worked with us and the people that have supported us, both thank you to them, and everybody listening still needs to go support that shit because that's so important. Like,
Yeah.
go buy Zestino tires and buy Link ECU and
Yep.
shop from Neil and do all that good shit because they're the people that have actually helped to do it and not the people who have brands who pulled all their sponsorships from drivers this year because there's
Yeah.
another fucking ECU company that did that and it's a joke. So yeah, there you go. I was trying to end positively. I just couldn't help it. I just couldn't. There's some pent up rage. Part
You
3
need to
of
get on
this.
Facebook.
Yeah,
A
but
year
I thi-
from now is
I think
going to be.
that's an important thing to be able to do at this point. My microphone's gone very peculiar. Can you actually?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear a fucking
yeah,
word
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Sounds like I'm
It's
talking
full
inside
of
a
liquid.
box. It is. Yeah, I've been speaking into it, and all my breath has become a liquid. Anyway, yeah, I think it's important that you feel like you can talk at this point. I know we have been doing, but like being honest about things, I think is.
Look, it's
vitally important.
it's a tough situation and it's been shit. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is genuine. If people don't support what there is now, there will be even less.
Yeah, I mean that's where we're
And
at.
if people just start showing up at tracks with cars that are 130 decibels, banging them off the limiter, making a bunch of noise, we're going to lose more venues.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
us.
If people
Hey,
if people don't support the championships will cease to function. If you don't support the brands that do sponsor things and do sponsor drivers, they're not going to sponsor drivers anymore. There's going to be less drivers. And drifting will just either become irrelevant or will just become part of a show tagged onto fucking Time Attack
Yeah.
that is just like 10 lads who are sponsored and get paid, but there'll be no drifting community.
Yeah.
And the community is what makes it special and what makes it brilliant. So, yeah, people just need to remember that and support that. And, you know, everyone who's helped us this year, thank you so much. And I'm sorry that it ended how it did. And people who've been let down and people who feel they got scammed, like, I'm so sorry that things ended the way they did. But that's it. Mic drop.
Don't drop it, for fuck's sake. They're so expensive, and clearly I fucked this one. Right, that was the Low Origin podcast. That was Mac. And we're going to go and get warm.
Yeah.
I'm freezing my dick off.
cup of tea.
So goodbye. If you can hear me, that's great. It sounds awful.
It's no, you're okay. You're alright
Is
in
it?
the ears.
In
Yeah,
my
you're
ear,
fine.
in my ears, it sounds like I'm speaking through a pillow.
Yeah, you're fine. You're
Okay.
good.
Anyway,
You're good.
goodbye.
We love you.
We love you.
Sorry if it did go live on Instagram and then stopped. I
Uh,
don't know. We'll have a look at that. It might be
go-
the cold that's fucked my phone.
Go subscribe to Mac Frost Rap Club on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Go subscribe to Mac Frost Rap. What?
Rap Club.
Rap Club.
on
You
YouTube.
you should start an OnlyFans and
into
do
that.
rap.
But like
Sexy
yeah,
rap.
Sexy rap.
Sexy.
I'm bringing sexy.
Sexy rap. Bringing sexy
Like
rap.
Cisco.
Yeah. Oh, the thong song.
Jesus. Right. Okay. Goodbye.
Right, love you all.
Goodbye.